details how a solo practitioner has done an end around the big advertisers, investing time instead of dollars to generate a massive following on TikTok. She does everything herself, from scripting and shooting to captioning, posting. Now receives all of her new clients from social media. Let's dive in and learn from one of my most inspirational interviewees, Lori Murray. Hi there, welcome back to the Grow with Cara show. Today we continue our interview series with successful attorney marketers. We're taking a close look at what's working, what's not, the specific steps these attorneys took to get to where they are. And remember, these are simple steps that you too can follow to get on a similar path to growth. Okay, let's get right to it. Today, our special guest is attorney Lori Murray. Lori is a former prosecutor and founder of the law offices of Lori S. Murray, a criminal defense and personal injury firm in Columbia, South Carolina. We're excited to have her here today. Welcome, Lori. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so Lori, to begin, just tell us a little bit about your story. Why did you launch the firm?
Well, I had a very checkered past in my on my resume. I started out as a law clerk for a judge. I worked for an insurance defense firm. My dad got sick and I wanted to be home with my dad. So I took a job with a collections firm, which was god awful for me. That was absolutely not where I needed to be. After that, my dad passed away. So I came back and I went back to working with insurance defense firms. And then realized that that path was not right for me either. It was a mutual decision that wasn't right. And I ended up leaving there with a recommendation to go to the prosecutor's office because that was always what I wanted to do, was criminal defense. So they actually, even though it was a mutual party, they actually gave me a recommendation with the head prosecutor in the Richland County Solicitor's Office. So that's how I ended up there. And I stayed there for about 2.5 years before I was approached by another attorney who needed somebody who knew how to do civil work. Well, I knew how to do civil work. So I came out, I practiced my criminal law. I did all of his civil work. Any personal injury that came in, I kind of did both. And it enabled me to make more money because I was coming out basically making the same amount from him. And the fee split from me handling any of his criminal cases was, I just really came out. I think I had to make like $10,000 to break even per year. So it was just more money and it was just a good opportunity.
When did you launch the firm?
When?
Yeah.
So we started, I'm sorry, I have to think about that.
That's okay.
I'm so old.
It's been a while. Yeah.
It has been a very long time. We started, or I started this firm, when I left the solicitor's office, it was probably 2002, late 2002. So I created my own firm when I was working with the other firm. I was up counsel to his firm. Okay. I've been completely on my own. I was with him for 5 years. So I have been completely on my own since 2007.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Okay, that's great. So how big is your team? How many attorneys and how many support staff?
You're going to really love this. It's just me as the attorney. I have an intern and a paralegal. That's it. I prefer to keep it small.
Yeah, sorry. How are you operating so leanly? How are you able to handle all of it?
Well, the more the firm grows, I have always been scared of growth. So the more that my firm grows, the harder it is for me to decide how to grow. I liked my private time, especially when my children were small. I intentionally kept it small because I wanted to spend time with my kids. But now that my kids are grown and in college and have left me, I'm just kidding. It's really kind of nice. But now that they have left me, I have this other time that I can put into working with my firm, and I probably need to learn how to grow. That's probably my one shortcoming right now. We know that we need to grow. We have the cases, but I'm always scared to take that step because, as a solo, you never know where the next case is coming from. And I just bought a beautiful new building and renovated it. So that's where my last associate is in this building. The money to pay for the associate is wrapped up in this building.
Well, congratulations on the building. That's exciting.
Thank you.
Yeah. Lori, what would you say, what percentage rate is the firm currently growing?
Ooh, that's a hard one. This is another thing about being a solo practitioner and also having extreme anxiety. I don't look at the number of cases that I have. And I know that every person out there is going to say, how do you not look at your numbers? I don't look at my numbers. I look at my bank account and I figure out if I have enough money to survive the next 6 months, year. It was funny because when I started out, my comfort level in my bank account was like $6,000. If I had $6,000 in my account, I was great. And that gradually, obviously, went up a little bit, and then it kept going up and kept going up. And so I I don't know where my comfort level is now, but I also don't know how to grow. I don't know how to bring in somebody else to grow
Hmm.
or have that comfort level to grow.
Yeah, that can be kind of a scary step, right? When you're kind of realizing that you're the bottleneck, you're kind of the one that is hindering that growth, but how do you kind of make that big, leap? And I know a lot of attorneys watching will feel, similarly, but that's interesting. So tell us about how we'll talk about how you're bringing in cases now. How were you bringing in cases early on? Was it primarily sort of referrals, word of mouth based?
It was referrals. I had, if I was doing personal injury work, then, and I did do a lot of personal injury work. That was where I got my bread and butter for years until all the advertisers came in and we started getting, crossing state line advertising. And that really dried up the personal injury market for smaller attorneys like me.
Okay.
So, um, I had to find somewhere else to go. But back then I had, multiple relationships with different chiropractors in town, tow truck drivers in town. Anybody that could refer cases to me was how I would get those cases. Criminal cases would come word of mouth. And I had repeat clients. I had, it was always client-based referrals. And this was back before Google reviews were a thing. So this was all really word of mouth.
Right, right,
You would
right.
think I wouldn't be as scared now to grow as I was back then, but I am still just as scared.
Well, you're definitely doing something right, Lori. You're a bit of a TikTok star. Right before we started this interview, you mentioned that is how you're getting your cases. It sounds like, outside of TikTok, you're not really, investing much in marketing. Is that correct?
Well, I mean, I got a website done. How was that? Probably 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. I built a website and they started talking about SEO. And I said, just hold on a second because right now I'm fine where I am. Again, not growing. I'm not going to grow because I didn't at that time didn't have any space to grow. But I said I'm fine where I am. So let's hold off on any SEO and any spending any money on boosting this website. And I have never gone back. I mean, I never went back to do anything with this website. It has all been social media,
Wow.
and I've been very fortunate.
Yeah.
It is, it's free.
Yeah, right. So you're at Lawyer Lori on TikTok. You have just about 460,000 followers,
Right.
5.3 million likes. Tell us how you got started on TikTok.
Oh, I did a video. If you scroll all the way back, it's mortifying to my children, which was exactly my purpose. I got on to TikTok to make a video to embarrass my teenage children. I mean, the very first video is my daughter walking up to my car. She said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm making a TikTok. Go away." I mean, we got this big old country accents on. And so I said, I'm making a TikTok. And she acted like I didn't know how. And so from then I just kept, making this TikToks. And honestly, I have an entertainer personality. And so you can tell me a whole lot of compliments. You may pay me a whole lot of compliments, but the best one you can tell me is that I've made you laugh because honestly, who doesn't love to laugh? And so I started telling stories that I thought people would find funny. Stories from the courtroom, stories from my life, anything that I thought would make people laugh. And one day I did a legal advice one. And overnight I had 15,000 new followers. And my daughter is, buying me a cake saying, "You went viral." And, really proud of me. So the embarrassment part went away mostly. But yeah, so it was one post on legal advice that actually turned the corner. And I kept doing, I was like, you do what works. That worked. So I kept doing that. I kept giving advice. And, when I figured out that people wanted advice on Second Amendment, then I would do some Second Amendment cases or videos. So you just kind of keep doing what's working. And it's not been overnight. It has been a slow and steady path to where I am right now. And I am not, there are a lot of lawyers out there who have way more followers than I do, but I am comfortable in where I am and comfortable in where I'm going.
How long has your journey been? So when did you kind of post that first video?
I would say it was in 2019 because it was before COVID. And so COVID was 20, right? When COVID 2020.
Yep.
So I remember being at the farmer's market picking up corn, such a weird thing. But I came back, all of my videos at the very beginning were in my car. Um, so that's why I remember being in the car when I made the first one. So it was probably June or July of 2019. So
Pretty early on. I mean, there
yeah,
were not very many attorneys on TikTok in 2019.
no, there weren't. And it really, I kept looking at the lawyers out there that there's a different style to every person's page. And I just disagreed with the way that attorneys were presenting themselves on there. So I presented myself differently.
I love it. I love it. So take me through your current process. Where do you find inspiration for new video topics now?
Oh, it's easy right now. We're in the middle of this Murdoch trial that is, completely taken over our state. I am watching it on one screen and trying to work on the other. I get up every morning. I do the local news station out of Greenville. I come to work. I watch the trial all day. A lot of times I'm on Court TV at night. I do TikTok lives. Just as an example of the difference between this Murdoch case and pre-Murdoch case, I had on a normal night, if I was to go live on TikTok, I would have 100, maybe on a good night, 200 people in the room. In the past week, when I go live and talk about this Murdoch case, there are 1,300 people in there. So it's an insane amount of people that want to know about this case. That is also how my following has been steadily growing. I put out a video about Shanquella, sorry, I forgot her name, Shanquella Robinson. I put a video out about Shanquella Robinson, and that resonated. That brought a whole new audience to me because I realized at that point, this is a huge case that white TikTok knew nothing about. And so when I broached that subject and actually, fessed up and said, hey, we don't know anything about your case. What's going on with this case? Then that brought up another audience in because they knew that I cared about both sides. I care about justice for everybody. So I just find what case I think is like any kind of injustice. I expose our governments, our local governments. There's a whole playlist called South Carolina's a Shit Show because we are a little bit of a shit show. But so anytime, and then people know that that's what I do. So they send it to me when they see something that, that I should be posting on, will send it to me because they want my take, which is extremely flattering.
Right, right. So it's not just legal advice anymore. I mean, you're commentating on high profile cases, newsjacking, right? Taking,
Right.
what's already on people's minds and really adding, your commentary, right? That's what seems like what's really working for you.
Always, I did a DUI video probably about a month and a half ago, and you get killed on the map because, there's so many people out there that want to beat you down for being a criminal defense attorney. So, and they are not afraid to be a keyboard warrior. I mean, they really come after you. So that's probably 5% of what I do now. I mean, I'm mostly trying to either talk about my life. I posted a video of my dogs jerking me off the steps and me tucking and rolling in the front yard the other day. It was on my Ring doorbell. I mean, it's mostly just anything that I think will get people's attention and will make them laugh. But it's honestly about making them remember me, and think about me. And if you show genuineness and realness and also the ability to go to bat for somebody, then they're going to come back to you.
Yeah, that authenticity really shows through. You really can see your passion in your videos. And how many videos are you typically posting per week? Are you shooting videos in batches?
No, I do not shoot videos. I mean, every now and then, but you'll look through my drafts and it's just drafts of what I've already posted because I don't get it right the first time. So I was doing one every morning and then another one at night, and then TikTok the Murdoch trial came along and that takes up my night with a live. So I usually try to post one in the morning. When this trial is over, I'll go back to posting one in the morning and one at night. And during the day, you try and find something to research with and some kind of content. And if I can't find it, that's okay too. They don't expect it to be every day. And, I don't expect to make money doing TikToks. And really, it's not, I never set out for it to be a marketing thing. And it still doesn't feel like a marketing thing to me. It just feels like I've met a whole lot of new people who I call friends, and they might think of me if they have a case.
Yeah, that's great. So it looks like you're just shooting on your phone. Is that right? Are you shooting yourself? How are you doing it?
Yeah, no, I see all these people who have people walking around a day in the life of a lawyer. I'm like, who the hell is going to follow me around? There's nobody. No, it's just me. I mean, I live alone and, um, I can make my paralegal do it, but I don't think he'd be very happy about it. Um, so yeah, no, it's all on my phone, all on my phone.
Because sometimes I think that's a hurdle for attorneys, right? They don't have the right equipment, they don't have the
Mhm.
time, they don't have the scripts, right? Have obviously proven that that isn't important, right? You need to be yourself, that authenticity, being genuine. I think, and speaking from the heart, I think that has taken you a long way. Would you agree?
Yes, I do. I mean, and it's interesting. I don't want to call myself so genuine, but that's the main compliment that I get is that you're just so real. And my client said that before even got on TikTok. That would be a comment that my clients would make. I'm told that during my lives I have a soothing voice, which is hilarious to me because I do not think I have a soothing voice. But I will say, don't think that I don't have the equipment because I do. I mean, there's a ring light over there.
Yeah.
I keep one in my office, one in my car, two of them at home. I have the microphone. I have all that stuff now that I didn't know, but I started out with sunlight being my light. You have to have the proper lighting because but sunlight was my proper lighting, and that's why they were all in my car. And I would ride around and find the right place for the sunlight to hit me.
That's great. I noticed there are so many shot in your car. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Mhm.
That's good.
That's why I didn't have a light.
Yeah. And then so you're editing, you're adding any captions, you're posting, you're doing it all.
But they're so low quality videos. They are so low quality. I mean, I video them and I look and I see if I like it. And then I put the captions on. I might put a little filter on. If I feel like I'm too pale, I'll put some suntan on there. And that's it. That is the editing that I do. If there's, I don't do stickers, I don't do anything. It is just me connecting with the people who are on the other side,
Yep.
which again, I probably is what makes me real.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. How much time would you say per week you spend on TikTok?
This week or a week when we're not in Murdoch because it's insane right now.
An average week, I suppose. Yeah.
Prior to this trial, I would do YouTube videos. Those videos generally take about 30 minutes minimum to complete, even though they're 3-minute videos. You're not going to get it right the first time. There is now a captions app that I have started to use a little bit, and that helps me. So if I write down what I want to say, and I can get it out a little bit better. I also realized it's okay to stop and start instead of trying to get it all in one take. So,
That's a
but
good
30
idea.
minutes per video, so about an hour, and I would go live um, maybe 3 to 4 times a week.
Okay. That's good.
So in those, usually I can't ever get off the lives. They take at least an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Lots of Q&A on the lives.
Yeah, it's just you get in there. It's like being at a party with your friend. I mean, honestly, these people I consider my friends, and it's like being at a party with your friends, and you all of a sudden say, "Oh, it's time to go," and I'm like, wait a minute, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. Y'all, no, don't go yet.
Right.
I sit in there all night. I have been getting during this trial. I have been getting 4 and 5 hours a night of sleep, and
Wow.
because I stay up so late with the TikTok people. Yeah,
You're really nurturing this community, this
yeah.
loyal following. That's cool. So tell me about lead generation. How are cases actually coming through TikTok? Tell me about that.
Well, so one of the things that I started, when I really started thinking about it, because again, it was never meant to be a marketing tool. And honestly, this has probably just been within the past year. What I realized is, hey, you've got that link tree hooked um, into your bio in your TikTok. And instead of people messaging you 1,000 times on here, which they do, message you 1,000 times on here. And that's okay if they want to send me a video or, something that I should be interested in. But if they have a question, they want to ask me, I always say, you know what, reach out to me through my website. It's the fastest way to get to me. Just go to my website. And that is what's driving my SEO. So that's why I don't have to pay for SEO because I am hitting those people. I've had followers go and find my Google reviews and leave me a good Google review.
Hmm.
So I never asked for that, but they do. But um, I push them towards my website, and then I get the messages through the website as well.
So are those coming in on a daily basis? Give us an idea of the volume of quality leads that are coming through TikTok.
Quality is an interesting
Yeah.
dynamic. Um, And I would say like most of the people don't understand that we focus on specific areas. So I get asked all the time if I do divorces. I do not do divorces. I
Yeah.
want to say it again. I want to put a banner across my page. I don't do divorces. Um, but you know, please ask that question again. I just completely lost my train of thought.
Just an idea of lead volume. How many leads are coming through
Quality.
TikTok? And
Okay, so
quality as well.
yeah, again, quality being the operative word, and because I get a lot of questions about being a family court lawyer, and I am not a family court lawyer. So maybe 5% of the leads are worth pursuing. A lot of malpractice cases have come in. But I couldn't give you a number because I don't track it as well as I should have. My paralegal tracks it and looks at it. I get too nervous again because I'm a big chicken at looking at my numbers. But I can tell, they say I saw you on TikTok and I'm calling you because I saw you on TikTok. So I would say I'm getting at least, I mean, I might not convert them, but at least the leads, I probably get at least 5 to 10 a week.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. And what percent of social cases will kind of call your office directly versus you mentioned kind of, either engaging in the comments, send you messages, you're kind of filtering them directly to the site, it sounds like, right?
That's right. And I would say the people that call the office, the percentage of people that just directly call the office, um, 15%, most of them go to the website. And I have two different ways to contact me through the website. So most of them will go through one of those two methods.
Okay. Are you
Mhm.
referring either, out of state social leads or kind of outside of your specialty leads to other firms? How are you handling those?
I will refer cases here in South Carolina. I don't have the network to refer out of state, but believe me, I get them all the time. I wish you practiced in Alabama. I wish you practiced in Michigan. I don't have that. I don't have that database of people to refer to. So if you're out there and you want some cases, shoot me an email. Go through my website. Shoot me an email. Um, because I can build a network. I mean, I don't have it. So I always have to tell those people, I'm sorry, I don't practice there. And they always are asking, it's a huge question. They want to know, how do you find a good lawyer? And I always just say, check your Google reviews and then ask, it's word of mouth. Check your Google reviews, check your bar site and make sure there's no disciplinary actions against them. And then word of mouth.
Well, you're really kind of becoming their trusted legal advisor, it sounds like, right? So whether or not you can actually, take a case that they have, it's really you that they're thinking of when it comes to, any, legal situation that they may be facing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of scary to be that person for 460,000 people.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a little
Yeah.
bit frightening.
Yeah. So you're also appearing on Court TV and Fox News regularly, is that right? How do you kind of, how do you coordinate those appearances? Tell us about that.
Well, so I do a local news station, Greenville, out of, it's about an hour and a half north of here. So I thought, why not? They called and asked me, or they emailed and asked me. I thought, why not? That'll open up a whole new market for me. So because I'm in Columbia, that's Greenville. So I do that morning show every day at 7:30. They are having me get up. I could keep telling them all the time, you're making me get up at 5:45 and be dressed and ready to go at 7:40. And so that's how I start my day. And uh, Court TV will call usually about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. They don't give you a whole lot of notice. I've gotten to be friends with the producer there. So a friend of mine's going on tomorrow night. So I texted her today and said, hey, can I go on tomorrow night with my friend? And, she's allowing me to do that. So the way that I got that was because a friend of mine was doing Court TV on the ethical issues in this Murdaugh case. Mm-hmm. And when they started asking about the criminal part, he was like, you're out of my league. Let you talk to my friend Lori. And so that is how I ended up with Vinnie Politan. And I have been on there now. I don't even remember how many times. I mean, I used to could tell you it was 5 times or 4 times or whatever, but it's been so many times now, I don't remember. And they're just really nice. They're great. They ask good questions, and my mom is proud. She gets to sit back and say, there's my kid. I have been quoted in the Daily Mail. I did 2 Fox National spots, and I've had a couple of other things too that have just come out of doing Court TV. It's interesting. It's interesting the way it happens. It's my 15 minutes. That's what I'm saying. It's just my 15 minutes.
Right, right. But it's also, it sounds like TikTok is also kind of bolstering up all of these other opportunities for you and really kind of, giving you more opportunity. Was Court TV before TikTok or after TikTok? Okay.
No, Chris,
Okay.
it absolutely is, because it does give some people a reference point
Right.
to see how I am on camera. And believe me, even from the beginning of this trial versus to now, the way that I speak in public in an interview is much different than the way I started out. I have a whole lot more confidence. The camera is not, I'm looking at the camera now most of the time, or I can look at the screen, and I know most of the time to look at the camera. So it just is, it's a learning experience. And, the ones from the beginning to now are just very different, but definitely because of the TikTok, they would have known who I was if not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Well, I think that you bring up a really good point. A lot of attorneys I talk to they lack confidence in front of the camera. Maybe they can speak all day in trial, or kind of friendly to their prospects or their clients, but kind of when the record button or the live camera hits, it's like, it's very, very different. So it sounds like it took you some practice to really kind of get comfortable. Is that right?
Even on the live, it's doing these videos for TikTok. I can go back and edit. I can edit. But when you're doing a live show, and especially a national live show like Court TV, no, you don't get the chance to edit. And I remember at the very beginning, going, well, I think, a lot. And I have since learned they want to see your personality. They want to see, more of who you are versus just that straight legal analysis, because that's what's entertaining. That's what's going to keep people coming back to their show. So it was real easy for me to hide behind my camera for a TikTok, but it was not as easy for me to get on live TV and do it. But, like I called my mom last night. I said, last night's was the best one yet, Mom. You need to go and watch it. So, I mean, it gets better. It just gets easier.
That's great. That's great. Are you putting any money into boosting posts? I mean, you're on Instagram as well. Are you boosting any posts? Are you investing any money on social advertising?
Not one bit.
Okay.
Yeah, I really, what I am trying to do right now is find some kind of social media manager so
Mhm.
that I can have the posts, because I don't have that many followers on Instagram. I'm really TikTok based. So I've started posting to Instagram. I've started posting to YouTube. I'm trying to get that basis or that base going. But people want merchandise that I have to open up a store to create a shirt with my name on it. Like, who in the world would want a shirt with my name on it? But they do. They want a shirt with my name on it. So there's a whole lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that I am having to learn how to do. But social media manager is definitely my next step, because no, I don't pay for anything. And the first step for me would be to cross post, to put myself there before we start talking about boosting anything.
Right, right. That makes sense for sure. So, Lori, before we wrap up, I always like to ask if a lawyer watching only has time to adopt one, maybe two of your tips, what would you recommend?
Well, if you're going to start a media, let's start that over. If you're going to start a social media platform, be it TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, whatever that is, these slogans that people come up with, there was one, I can't call him out, but I think that there is one who took my personality and created a slogan to describe my personality and uses that as his slogan. And those slogans don't play well, because they come off as you being an attorney who is looking for clients, as you advertising. And honestly, you're going to relate better to people when they don't think that you're advertising. And I really and truly am not. I look for the benefit of connection with TikTok. And it just is a side benefit that these people come along with it, these cases come along with it. So if you're going to start out on a social media platform like that, just start out being yourself, and don't think of it as an advertising ploy. Don't put that link, click here. Hey, if you need a lawyer, it works for some people. It just doesn't work for me. And I think you're going to find that the more genuine accounts are the ones that do better.
Absolutely, that benefit of connection. I love that.
Right.
How are you handling those comments? Some of my previous guests have mentioned that there is quite a few sort of junk comments on TikTok. That's something that, they have to kind of sift through. How do you handle that?
Oh, I'm not very good at it. I mean, I have this personality and no filter. So, I mean, some people do come in and we call them trolls or keyboard warriors. And, like some, last night even. I mean, there's so many comments now that I don't see as many of them because they're washed out. My daughter, even when I had 15,000 followers, was like, Mom, don't answer all the comments. You're not supposed to. And I always wanted to answer all the comments because I thought, well, what if I don't answer the one that wants to hear from me? So I answered all of the comments for as long as I could. And now I can't. And I haven't seen the mean comments in a while, but I saw one last night that said, I don't like your eye makeup. And I was like, okay. I mean, I can choose to roll on with that, but when I go back and say, I don't give a blankety blank, and I did the blankety blank with the little exclamation. I didn't write it out, but I said, I don't give a. And, honestly, that is what the people who follow me
Right.
fully expect from me. So you have to find your way of dealing with them. I found mine. I don't respond to every single one of them, but one as stupid as that. I mean, like, really, why do I care if you like my makeup? So I do clap back on some of them, but most of them I try to ignore. But I don't have a filter. So if you get the response, I mean, if you're going to make the statement, you should be prepared to get the response back.
Well, yeah, I mean that's why your personality is so well suited for social media, right? And I think that you are providing high value content, either, helping answering common questions that people might have about the law, or really adding your commentary to these high profile cases. And it's the content that matters, right? It's that value that's why you're growing so quickly.
That's very nice of you to say. And honestly, I was talking to another lawyer. He's got more followers than I do. And I think it's Justin on TikTok. And I don't even know if he's a lawyer, but he does, he talks about high profile cases. And I was like, we need to do one together. Like, what are we going to do when Murdoch's over? Honestly, I'm getting like, I'm going to be in withdrawal. So we got to start finding the next case that comes after Murdoch, because I don't know what we'll do. I don't know enough about the Idaho case to do that one, but we'll definitely have to find something that's going to fulfill my time after this is done. Maybe not as much time, but still fill the time.
Right. I love that collaboration approach. That's a brilliant idea, right? Get someone who, has similar audience and similar followers. And yeah, that's a great idea. And
Yeah, it's funny too, because I had one lawyer who is from South Carolina as well, and he, I think it's in Charleston, and his political views are the complete opposite of mine, complete backwards of mine. I had at the time maybe 380,000 followers. He had 10. And he was like, we should do something together. We should. And I was like, are you kidding me right now? No, first of all, no. And let me remind you again, no. And I said, like, your political view is completely different from mine. Why would I let you come onto my page and just so you can, they call it stealing clout, just so you can steal clout. You're not going to come on my page and steal clout.
Right. Yeah, it has to be mutually beneficial, right? Yeah, exactly.
Right.
That's good.
Right.
That's great, Lori. Well, thank you so much for sharing your experience. It was really a lot of fun learning from you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Lots of invaluable DIY tips from Lori today. Here are the primary takeaways I see. Number one, newsjacking generates views, followers, and engagement. Sure, it can be time consuming to follow and report on high profile legal cases, and immediate turnaround really is required for this technique, but people are interested in the insights that a lawyer can provide, right? Lori has taken this to a higher level with her evening lives on the Murdo case, but the large increases in followers and in engagement really showcases the benefits. Number two, social media is a level playing field. I say this all the time. It's true. It really is. Big advertisers with large staffs, they have no better odds of success on Instagram and TikTok than do those solo practitioners with small or maybe even no ad budget, right? So Lori's story, it's highly inspirational. It's an inspirational example of how personality, time, authenticity, practice, consistency, maybe a bit of luck can bring massive success on social media. Number three, personality and authenticity count. Big factors in Lori's success are her engaging personality and really being herself. She freely and regularly expresses her opinion, whether she's commenting on the Murdo case happenings or giving actual legal advice, right? It only takes watching a few of her videos before you really feel like you know her and you know her quite well. That familiarity is really key in pulling in qualified leads. And number four, Lori can gain additional benefits from her massive following. I see several ways that Lori can take advantage of her high social profile, right? Building a referral network, that would be the first step I would recommend. I bet a number of my prior guests with large followings would be more than happy to swap referrals with Lori. Referring cases out will, of course, generate a second and could be sizable source of income for Lori. And the incoming cases from cross-referral relationships will likely support hiring an associate attorney. Next, I would designate a team member to engage with the messages who may have a quality case. Alternatively, Lori could automate responding, of course, like Alia Wad has done on Instagram at CEO Lawyer. I really see multiple other ways Lori could increase client flow from her large TikTok following, but these are the two I would certainly start with. I hope you found Lori's interview to be inspirational. Next week's interview, it's a really good one, is with winning trial lawyer John Gomez. He's doubled his 90-person firm's revenue last year. Can't wait to see you for that one. Have a wonderful week. Keep marketing. Bye-bye.